Hello Facebook, sorry about the long gap in videos about the election. As some of you probably saw, let me take my glasses off, don't need those. Some of you probably saw on my Facebook feed, my 13-year-old son decided to get gangrenous appendix that burst and he needed emergency surgery, which was about a week and a half ago. Last Wednesday, so I spent most of my time up until Monday this week up at the hospital helping him, helping to look after him, and then I spent most of this week catching up on all the work in my business that I actually missed out on because of that, which is fine. That's what you do when you're a dad, you look after your kids. Hang on, let me get this. There we go, that's even better. So a friend of mine asked me a question on Facebook today about Clive Palmer and the United Australia Party and what he thought or what my thoughts are on him. So there's a couple of things about Clive Palmer. I think as a person, I'm not sure that I trust him all that much. I feel like he might be a little dodgy. But having said that, if it's true that he owes his workers in the seat of Herbert, which is Townsville, $7 million in entitlements and wages, 14% of that electorate are still saying they're going to vote for him at this next election. And what does that mean? I'm not sure that it means much, except that maybe the electorate's stupid. That could be a possibility, I don't know. What I think about Clive Palmer is he spent $50 million on advertising this year alone with the sole reason of getting into the Senate. Now, he didn't start out that way. He's basically just sort of been rubbishing, especially Labor's policies, but also the Liberal policies. He's running a candidate in every federal seat in this election. So 151 seats. Besides Labor and Liberal parties, he's the only other person who's running a candidate in every other seat, which is interesting in itself. I think he's serious in some ways, but I wonder what his motivation might be. So the whole game for Clive Palmer, he's not going to win government, obviously. He's not going to win 78 seats or anything like that. But what he does want is a Senate seat. Now, it looks like the way the Senate works, he'll probably get a Senate seat in Queensland, and maybe in other states as well. And my suspicion, and maybe I'm just cynical, is that he wants a Senate seat to benefit his personal businesses and things like that. History would say that he'll do nothing of any consequence in the parliament. So when he was the Palmer United Party in 2013, he ended up with, I think it was 4 senators from memory, or maybe 3 senators, can't remember. Jackie Lambie was one, and she was a train wreck, and still is. Glenn Lazarus was another one, and he defected not long after a little while, because he couldn't get along with Clive Palmer and the way that he was taking the party in Parliament. And Clive Palmer, if he showed up to the Senate, which he didn't do very often, seemed very disinterested and fell asleep on one occasion at least. What is interesting about Clive Palmer and the fact that he's spending so much money on advertising, it's going to be very interesting to see if you can actually buy yourself, if you've got enough money, a Senate seat, if you can buy your way into Parliament. I suspect he will. I suspect he will get at least one Senate seat, which will be for him, and possibly more. I also think that it's interesting, if you spend enough money, can you convince otherwise sensible people to vote for somebody who's not, vote worthy? I have to be honest, some of the stuff I've seen, I'm starting to think myself, is he worth voting for? And then I catch myself and go, hang on, no, I don't think he is. A lot of his policies, inverted commas, it seem interesting, but even if he's genuine with those policies, even if he really means that he believes in those things, what can he really do? What will he really be able to achieve in the Parliament? So I guess in the short version, I would say, no, I don't rate him at all. I don't think he would be a good politician. I don't think he's a good person. And even if half the things that are reported about him in terms of what he owes people in his nickel mine are true, then before he goes and does anything else, he should probably spend money on paying those people before he starts worrying about anything else. But I do think he's going to buy enough votes to get into the Senate, and I think that's probably interesting in itself in that sense. But if you ask me, if you want my opinion, I wouldn't vote for him. I wouldn't give him your vote. If you want to vote other than Labor or Liberal, which I, in the Senate, endorse, I think it's a good idea. There are plenty of other minority parties that are probably worth voting for. Australian Conservatives, Farmers and Fishers in New South Wales, I think would be a good option. I like some of their policies. There's Rob Katter's party in Queensland. Again, these are regional people looking after regional people, so that'd be worth it. One Nation, I'm going to do a video on One Nation and talk about One Nation, but yes, with the question mark. Obviously don't vote the Greens because they're looking to kill us all. They're quite evil, don't vote for them. So hopefully this helps answer some questions about Clive Palmer. Happy for you to jump on the comments, send me a message, ask me my thoughts on anything else to do with the election. Now that I'm back, I will try to do a video every day until the election, which is only, 2 weeks tomorrow, or 3 weeks tomorrow. Hang on, what's the date? 3 weeks tomorrow. So not long to go, and I'll try to do a video every day, and I might try and do something special on the night of the election, maybe do a live stream following the count action to action. All right, guys, good to speak with you again. Glad that I was able to get back into the video land with this, and yeah, talk to you tomorrow.